girls, we have been talking about analyzing characters recently and how we can use things in stories that the characters think, say, feel, and do to help us analyze what kind of character they are. So, Kate, would you read for us what our learning target is for today and our work with that character analysis?
I can describe character attributes, traits, and feelings.
And would you remind us what attributes are, Kate?
Attributes are words that describe how people look and act.
Excellent description. And who can remind us of another word that we've talked about for feelings that characters have? Tyler?
Emotions.
Emotions. Now, we have discussed that there is an important difference between a character's emotions and their traits. So what I'd like you to do is, would you please turn to your shoulder partner and would you talk about the difference between emotions and traits? One of the differences between emotions and traits that you talked about with your shoulder partner, Griffin?
Traits describe a character's personality.
Excellent. And what might we ask ourselves about a character to think about their traits?
Are they lisp?
Are they
Kind?
So we could ask if they are a certain kind of trait. Remember, when we're thinking about the story, what might we ask ourselves about their actions in that story? How does the character behave in the story? And as you said, that's an indicator of their personality. Now, what are a character's emotions? What was the difference between what Ariana said and a character's emotions? Hill?
The difference is how the character feels at a certain time.
At a certain time. So would we say, Chase A, that emotions can change?
Yes, they can often.
Often, okay. And Caitlin, do traits normally change very often?
No.
No, they usually are more about what a character's personality is like, and they don't change as much as the emotions of a character do. Now, we have just finished reading the book. Thank you, Mr. Fokker. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this story. It was a wonderful one, wasn't it? And I asked you, with your team, we analyzed, using our graphic organizer, we analyzed a main character from the story. Team 7 analyzed Grandpa. Team 8 analyzed Grandma. Team 9 analyzed Mr. Fokker. Team 10 did an analysis of Eric. And Team 11 looked at the character of Trisha. And what I asked you to do on your graphic organizer, we did a jigsaw activity where each person at the team led the discussion about that character's thoughts. Then we had another person that led the discussion about their actions. Another person on the team talked about their dialogue, which means what, Chase B?
Conversation.
their conversations. Excellent. And we also had a member of the team analyze their feelings. And we had a discussion and wrote down some text evidence about those 4 things pertaining to the character that we analyzed. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look carefully at that text evidence that you wrote down on your graphic organizer following your discussion. And I would like you to discuss as a team a trait that you think best describes your team's character. Looking again carefully at that text evidence. What did they think? What did they do? What did they say? What did they feel? And I'd like you to record that in the sentence at the top of your paper. And then I would also like you on your sentence strip to record that trait also. And when we are finished discussing and writing those things, we'll come back together and share our text evidence and the trait that we decided upon for our character. Let's go ahead and get started.
I think
You'd be like thoughtful.
dependable, thoughtful.
I was also thinking encouraging. But how is he dependable?
I think
Encouraging.
I agree
Then I'm gonna write encouraging. Yeah. He's encouraging.
I like the way that I see everyone looking carefully over their list of character traits and coming up with one that they really think describes their character.
Yeah.
All have decided?
I don't even know how to say
it's like this fat and she's really skinny. I don't even know what encore means.
like to do it again. Got that done. I want to do like one
We
more
did better
for
on
feelings.
we did better on this one than the last one.
Feelings, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, boys and girls, let's go ahead and come back together. It looks like all of our teams have selected their character trait and are ready now to discuss what text evidence they use to arrive at that decision. So let's start over here with Team 7, who did a character analysis of Grandpa. And Charlotte, would you share the trait that your team came up with for Grandpa?
Encouraging.
Encouraging. Now let's hear what your text evidence was. So person number 1, what was a thought Grandpa had? Trisha can read. Okay. How about person number 2?
He puts honey on a book.
He puts honey on a book. That was an action. Person number 3, what was an example of dialogue from Grandpa?
He says that the knowledge is sweet.
Okay, and when talking about the honey on the book,
Yeah.
okay, and person number 4,
He feels confident that Trisha can read. Like he feels confident that she'll be able to read and stuff.
excellent. Hey, boys and girls, if you agree with Team 7 that Grandpa was encouraging, give me a thumbs up. Excellent thinking, Team 7. Now let's head over here to Team 8. Matthew, can you share the trait that Team 8 came up with for Grandma?
The trait we said for Grandma was caring.
Caring. Now let's start with person number 1 and look at that text evidence. So for her thoughts, can you share a thought she had?
She thought that Trisha was a good different.
She thought that Trisha was a good type of different. Okay? And how about person number 2, her actions?
Went to have an actor. She helped Trisha.
Okay, how about person number 3, dialogue from Grandma?
If you don't hold on to the grass, you will go to the holes. Slides happen.
That was an interesting point that she said, wasn't it? And then person number 4, what were some of her feelings?
She was proud of Trisha.
She was proud of Trisha. Sam, can you tell me what the trait that Team 8 came up with for Grandma was? Encouraging. If everyone agreed, give me a thumbs up. I'm sorry, I'm holding up Team 7's. Team 8 said for Grandma that she was caring. Okay, everyone, if you agree with caring, give me a thumbs up. So far for Grandpa, we have encouraging. For Grandma, we have caring. Excellent. And then let's move over here to Team 9. Team 9, your trait, Caitlin, that you came up with was what?
Generous.
Generous. Can you share person number 1? This is in analyzing Mr. Fokker. What was a thought that Mr. Fokker had that made him generous?
Mr. Fokker thought Trisha was feeling lonely because she and the other kids thought she was dumb.
Okay, excellent. How about person number 2? What was an action that Mr. Fokker did?
He took the time after school to teach Trisha how to read.
Very good. Took the time after school to teach her how to read. Person number 3, dialogue.
Mr. Fokker told Trisha that she would be able to read someday.
That she would be able to read someday. Person number 4, feelings.
Fokker was glad and proud that he was able to teach Trisha how to read.
Okay, so feelings. You said that he was glad and proud. Excellent. So boys and girls, let's repeat together what the trait that Team 9 picked for Mr. Fokker was.
Generous.
Generous. Excellent. Let's move over here to Team 10. Griffin, can you share the trait that Team 10 came up with for Eric?
Hateful.
Hateful. And let's look at the text evidence. So person number 1, what were some of Eric's thoughts that led us to that conclusion?
Eric thought she was dumb because she could not read.
Okay, so Eric thought that Trisha was dumb because she couldn't read. Person number 2. Actions.
One of Eric's actions was he yanked Trisha's hair.
Okay, excellent. Person number 3, dialogue.
He thought Trisha was dumb and ugly.
And he said that frequently, didn't he, in his words to her. And Griffin, for Eric, his feelings, what do we think they were?
Eric feels he's better than Trisha because he can read.
He can read, okay? Excellent. So, boys and girls, if you agree with Team 10 that Eric was hateful, give me a thumbs up. Okay, looks like everyone's in agreement. And then finally, let's hear from Team 11. Sam, what did your team decide was the trait for Trisha? Dull. Okay, so interesting and characteristic. Let's see what we think is the text evidence.
He thought she was dumb.
Okay, and so person number 1, you feel that she thought she was dumb. How about for the actions? Would you share those also?
She came in the stairwell.
Okay, and how about person number 3?
She said, "I hate school."
She said, I hate school. And for feelings, person number 4.
She was
so if we're talking about why she was dull, for your evidence, you've told us a lot about her character. So tell me, I'd like to hear your thinking. What was?
We thought she was dull because she wasn't in like most of the story. She wasn't that good at reading, and she thought she was horrible. She said, "I'm horrible at this. I'm dumb at that," and stuff. So she thought she was dull.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you mean that she thought she was. You're kind of thinking of that as dumb. Okay. When I see the word dull, I kind of think of it as boring. But it sounds like you mean because she thought she was not intelligent. Is your thinking? Okay. So great job.